today, and it fitted a lot of my narrative that I speak on in this channel. It fit the narrative of black rulership, and I'm gonna get into why it fit that. It fit the narrative that I always say when I say the civil rights movement was the biggest mistake that, or one of the biggest mistakes that ever happened to black people. Um, and if you don't understand why I said that, click the link in my bio, or click the link in the description or bio. I don't really know where it be. I think it's the description, the bio, and you'll be able to find that link. Actually, right under the title of this video and right under the subscription area, that part of the description, and you will see what I'm talking about, like right here on this video that I'm about to play for you guys. Um, and click that link on why the civil rights movement was bad for black people. But and so I'm gonna start from the top. Now, of course, ESPN, they been went woke. That's why they ratings are horrible, and nobody really watches them anymore. I mean, of course, the woke people do, but that's it's more people in the world that's not woke than is. Quiet as kept, and strange as that may seem. And of course, Jalen Rose, somebody I love, and RG3, Robert Griffin III, he another one. But Jalen Rose and RG3, slowly but slowly over the last, I'm gonna say 5 or 6 years, been getting very woke and getting very turning into crybabies. And it's so crazy, bro, that these dudes do all that talking about black this and black that, but yet they both went married white women. I don't believe Jalen Rose is with his wife anymore, Molly Querum, whatever her name is, the white lady on First Take with Stephen A. Smith. And RG3 is with a white woman, but yet they always want to speak about black issues and all this. Listen, brother, future references, you dudes who want to date outside y'all race, I got a channel, I got a video on my channel about that as well. Something that I don't support: interracial dating, interracial marriage. But listen, bro, you done spreaded your seed with a white woman, RG3. You didn't compromise your seed. So it just killed me. Y'all so pro black. Why y'all didn't go get one of these beautiful black women out here, right? But that's not here or there. They have both become super woke over the years, trying to make everything about race and everything racist and this, that, and the third. And starting off, I'm gonna say about black rulership, and I'm gonna get into it as the video plays, but I'm gonna just speak briefly on it. If black people were more invested and more interested in black rulership versus equality to quote unquote white people or Jews or any of those people who they begging for a hug, the liberal blacks anyway, the liberal blacks, the wokey woke, the internet revolutionary who have big mouths with no plan, they seem to want a hug from the white man so much, and that's why I always say that. And I got videos on that as well, on why Malcolm X wasn't pushed like MLK, because MLK, that's what he was about. He was about hugging, sharing, and having equality with the white man. And for me, I'm one of those type of people. I look at people all the same. I don't hate. I don't hate no people. I love all people, but at the same time, nobody is holding me back. I'm equal to the white man. I'm equal to the Jewish man. I'm equal to everybody else in America. I'm not above nobody and nobody above me. But what I speak about when I mean black rulership, all these other races have rulership mentalities, whereas black people have employee mentalities. This is what, it's not no coincidence that no black owners in two major sports that's majority black people play the game. It's not a racist thing. Maybe at maybe at once upon a time it was, but at this point it's not. Same thing with these rap labels. All these rap labels is ran by white people and Jews, and that maybe at one particular time it was by force, but now it's by choice because our people, majority of them, have a mindset of I just want to sign a deal. I don't want to own the company, right? I'm gonna just sign a deal. I'm gonna be good with that, and we're gonna just be good with that. But I don't want to own the company, right? And speaking of that, speaking of music, rap and R&B is the number one genre of music right now in the United States, maybe the world, but I don't know. But for sure, in the United States, rap and R&B is the number one genre of music. But yet, it's no black owners. Now you got people that's in high positions like Jay Z, L.A. Reid, but they don't own their own companies. And if they do own their own companies, people like JD with Social Death or Birdman with Cash Money, or even L.A. Reid and Babyface, they had a face. They all still got somebody in the hem of it in the background who making calls and making say so's that are not black about a black culture, right? And that's always because black people want to be quote unquote equality, and they look at success as the white man. They look at success as the Jewish man. They look at success as the Asian man. Instead of creating their own, instead of creating their own, instead of creating their own thing of success, right? You know, black people get money, and what do? They move in the white neighborhood instead of building up their own neighborhood, right? And sowing into their own neighborhoods and making their own neighborhood beautiful so they can live there. And I understand that a lot of black people have that mindset of destruction. They so chaotic, and that's why the hoods are always tore up and destroyed, because it's a spiritual thing, and there's just so much destruction and evil that come from these households, from the mothers majority of the time, who made bad decisions with the wrong man. um and I always, like I say, put the blame on the black man for the issue that go on in the black community, because the black man is the head, and it's always his fault for whatever black woman you see, however she acting, whether she a OnlyFans thought, stripper thought, or just one of these wild black women that I tell my brothers to stay away from. It's a black man's fault, whether it be her father who wasn't in her life, that led her to have anger in her heart and to seek out male validation from somebody else because her father wasn't there. She get tied up with dudes who she think love her. They don't love her. They just love her between her legs, and they leave her with a child, and she just angry. She just angry for so many different reasons. She passed the anger on to the child, and the children therefore go in the community and just be destructive because they have so much anger in them from the homes. So in the black communities, that's why most of the time black communities are destroyed, and they just in ruins, because the mindset and the spiritual aspect from the people who reside there is chaotic and destruction. So that's what they put forth. But if we would build our own communities and take our own money back to the communities, we would stop making babies out of wedlock as men and stay with our women, and just change this whole narrative, because we got the power to do it now. There's nobody holding us back at this point. You know, at one particular, I was having a conversation with my mama the other day about my grandmother. My grandmother was born in 23, and you know, even my mama, she was born in 1957. This Jim Crow time, and so they had a hard time coming up. It was a lot of things that they couldn't do, but at this point in 2023, the white man should never come out the black man's mouth under no circumstances when it comes to dealing with anything that they dealing with. Do they have racism and do all those things exist? Of course, but I'm gonna show you something, and it's something that I know for a fact. Racist white people, they stay away from everybody for the most part. Now, do you have people in certain positions of power over companies that's racist? Yes, they do. But I'm gonna show you something. This is something I have experienced. I'm not telling you what I heard. This is something I've experienced. Those people um that may be racist in positions of power over companies that you may work for, black man or black woman, um these people are business people. And even though they may be racist, the number one thing that they're about is green. And if you good at your job, that's what they care about. Now, outside of work, they may not invite you to their home. They might not want you to date their children. They may feel like that about you. But when it comes to workplace, racist white people don't mix racism with their business. And I know this for a fact. Now, once again, everything I say, and I always put this as a disclaimer on my channel, everything that I say, I'm speaking on the rule, not the exception. Yes, it is an exception to the rule that some white people are racist and they don't want black people nowhere around them. But for the most part, That's not the case. They all about the bottom line, which is money. So if they don't like black people, that's fine. But guess what? If you do the job good, they will hire you and elevate you. I was working for a white guy at one particular time, when I was in the chemical plant field, and this white boy was openly racist. He was openly racist. He didn't try to hide it, and I would have conversation with him about certain things. He would say, he would tell me, certain things and why he was racist, how he was raised, and a lot of time, white supremacists, they raised that way, and the way black people carry themselves, for the most part, not all, but most, it doesn't help them change that narrative, because what they looking at, what they see, and what they was raised to believe, and black people, pretty much, not all, but most, are out of control at this point. And so, we would have certain conversations. We got real close, and he ended up getting his homeboy hired. His homeboy is, of course, a white supremacist as well. But his homeboy wasn't that good. His homeboy was a good worker, but he wouldn't show up a lot of time, and he replaced him. I had a black friend that worked for us. He made his homeboy, when he hired him, the lead man. So it was him, and he was the head man, and his white homeboy was under him. That white boy kept messing up, and he replaced him with my homeboy. My homeboy was black as the ace of spades, because that's how they are. They don't care about race when it comes down to the bottom line. Because when you're in these chemical plants, you have crews, and he was the head of our crew, and it was all about making him look good. So he wasn't gonna be that stupid to say, well, you know what? Even though I'm a white supremacist, my homeboy making me look bad, but they got this black dude that worked better than him, and got all the same credentials. And he demoted his homeboy and upgraded my homeboy. I'm gonna show you another thing that he did. I had a situation where I got in a car accident one time, and when you get in a car accident, now I didn't get in the car accident at the chemical plant, but I had to call out one day because I got in a car accident on the way to the chemical plant. And so when you get in a car accident on the way to the chemical, or when you get in a car accident and you work for the plant, they gotta have the paperwork and all that. And so after you get the paperwork in on why you was out for those days, and you actually did have, and they verify that you actually had a car accident, they start to, every day they gotta test you. They gotta run a test on you. And so when they was running that test on me every single day, for some odd reason I don't know, my blood pressure was through the roof. So I tried everything. I tried everything. I tried to take medicine. I tried all the over the counter thing, remedies, and if you name it, I tried everything to help my blood pressure. And I'm talking about, I had probably missed about 2 weeks, because I would go in, they would do the blood test before I get to work. The blood would go high. They would send me back home. Now, I was one of his best workers as well. I wasn't the lead man, but I was one of the best guys on the crew. He told me one day, he said, look, meet me at so-and-so after work. So I goes and meet him after work one day at this biker club. And I know this area of town is racist, and I met him at this biker club. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm from the hood. You know what I'm saying? And I was kind of afraid. I wasn't afraid, but I was like nervous as hell. 'Cause I'm like, man, what's about to go down? So he comes out. I call him. I say, I'm outside, bro. He comes out. He gives me a pill. Now he on high blood pressure medication, but he got high dosages. I don't know what. I ain't gonna say it. I don't know what kind of high blood pressure pill he on. But he say, take this before you go to work in the morning, and by the time you get to work, cause the way it was like a 20-minute drive to work. We park at a particular parking lot, jump on the bus, and the bus take us in the compound. He said, by the time you get here and get your test, I guarantee you'll be good. That white boy didn't have to do that. That white boy did not have to do that. He had plenty of white boys that was trying to get on, but his crew was full. That was the perfect time for him to say, you know what, I'm going to just get him, because he missing too many days, I'm going to just get him off my crew and put one of my white boys on. He didn't do that. That dude gave me a pill, right? The pill, of course, worked, and I was back to work making money. And it was a blessing, because I had missed like 2 weeks of work, you know what I'm saying? So I said all to say this here. White supremacists got more power from black wokety woke, black internet revolutionaries and liberal black, get them more power than they actually have. Those people don't bother nobody. They stay to themselves, and if they is at the workplace, they mind their business and they stick to the bottom line. Who the best worker is how they go. Is they accepting to that? As I mentioned before, yes, they are. But going back to what I was saying, if we would create our own things as black people, we wouldn't have to worry about these things. And going back to the civil why the civil rights movement was a big mistake and why I'm using that in this video is because the civil rights movement gave black people a reason to blame somebody. Even though, like I said, at that particular time it was relevant, it's not anymore. Black people are some of the most powerful, richest, educated people in the United States, in the world. Then they can do whatever they want to do. You got black people who come up from nothing and they millionaires right now because they put their best foot forward and didn't make no excuse, and they had a ruling class mindset. And most of us don't. Most black people have communist, socialist, employee mindsets. And that's something that we got to change moving forward, or things are not going to get better for us. Because we can't expect, not, and like I say, I'm not speaking from my perspective, but I'm speaking from the perspective of most black liberals, black wokey wokes, and black internet revolutionaries with no plan. They always blaming the white man for this, that, and the third, but yet that's the same person who they expect to give them equality. Right? Why would he do that? Why would he give you equality when you blaming him for everything, for one? For two, the thing that he do for you, you're not appreciative of that. You're going to still say you're going to move the goalposts again. And three, why would he and his bloodline did what they had to do to get in power? Why would they stoop down and give you some of that power? No, you got to do what they did and take and stop asking, right? And so these days, going into, I'm about to play this video, everything happened that go against something about black people, it's always the same thing. The same old song. And it's just getting played out. It's racism. It's racism. They don't like black people. It's because I'm black. And that's all because the civil rights blueprint have stained a lot of liberal black, woke blacks, internet revolutionaries. And it gives them somebody to blame for any little thing. So I'm gonna play this video about this channel that I like to watch by the name of Sports Wall. They're a good channel, and they speak a lot about sports and certain little issues. And so they're about to speak about the viral video that I'm sure a lot of people heard of, where Phil Jackson, NBA coach and legend, coached the great Kobe Bryant to 5 championships, coached Michael Jordan to 6. He said that he don't like the NBA anymore. He don't watch it because it became woke via summer 2020. And so I agree with him on that. I told a lot of people that if my team Green Bay Packers was playing, or one of my favorite players like Carmelo Anthony, Russell Westbrook, or Devin Booker, or doing a playoffs, the Super Bowl, and the finals, I watch those type of events, but just every game like I used to watch it, I don't watch it anymore because it got overly political and it got overly woke. And that's just not what I want to cut a game on to watch. I just don't. That's why that was one of my issues with Kaepernick. Like, leave that outside of the game, right? And so he said he don't watch it no more. He said it came overly woke and he don't watch it no more. And, of course, the liberal blacks like Jalen Rose and some other ones, the liberal blacks, the black wokey wokes, the black internet revolutionary with big mouths and no plan came out. Oh, it's because he racist. Oh, it's because it's just all this bull crap. Like, that's that man's opinion and he entitled to that. Who cares? Like, black people spend too much time worrying about what white people think about them. I've never seen that in my life. So what? If that's how he feels, so what? If he'd have said something, hey, Jalen Rose, I don't like you because you black or whatever, then you had the right, and all these other people. Listen, Phil Jackson stated his opinion, and that's the way he feels. But I'm going to play the video, and of course, I'm going to chime in.
Despite not being involved in the NBA over the past several years, legendary coach Phil Jackson, who coached the Bulls to 6 titles, the Lakers to 5 titles, went viral for his take about the modern day NBA. And honestly, it's a take that's shared by a lot of people. He criticized the NBA for its social justice woke messaging. He said people got tired of tuning in and watching slogans on the court, slogans on people's backs. They want to focus on basketball. That's why they're tuning in. That's a sentiment that shared by a lot of other people across all sports, not just basketball, but certainly when it comes to the NBA. They drove a significant portion of their audience away with everything they did in 2020 and 2021. Well, some people took those comments that Phil Jackson made about how the league has gotten too political and too woke, and they said, you know what? Phil Jackson, he's just a racist. He just hates black people. You saw this everywhere on Twitter with people claiming that that's the reason that Phil's saying this. Phil's cowardly to mock black athletes when your entire reputation and bank account is built off their hard work and talent. Phil Jackson's an old racist that's been riddled with health issues, so I hope his grandkids find him funny because he's on his way out of here, hoping that he dies. Phil's just lying. His issue's not with politics in sports, regardless of the message. His issue's that a specific activist message is being sent. Yeah, I knew Phil Jackson was trash. You saw a lot of this stuff from the normal people on social media. But one thing we also expected was the mainstream media, the woke ESPNs of the world. We knew what their response would be. And sure enough, Jalen Rose did not disappoint. You know, the same Jalen Rose who thought that Jacob Blake, career criminal, the guy who was rightly shot by the police, when he thought he actually died, when he thought Jacob Blake was dead and said so on national television, Jalen.
That's another thing, and I want to real stopping right there. And I don't know if it was on this channel or older channel I had, but I made a video about that whole nonsense. But that's another thing. They was lifting guys up, criminals, George Floyd, Jacob Blake, lifting these guys up as criminals, lifting these guys up as heroes. Jacob Blake is a registered sex offender. Had multiple charges that he had even went to court for. Resisted arrest that day. Fought the police. Was they supposed to shoot him 7 times? Of course not. I don't think he should have been shot 7 times. But at the end of the day, he fought police. They tried everything to do to restrain him. He ran, got to his truck, and reached inside his truck. And I don't believe he was reaching to grab a lollipop. Come to find out later on, he was reaching to grab a knife. Now he say, "Oh, my children was in the truck." So in front of your 2 children, this is how you act in front of police. Not to mention going to your vehicle to grab something, and the cop did what they had to do. The cop did what anybody in their right mind would do if they into an altercation with somebody and that person going to their car to grab something and they got a gun on them. The best thing to do is to shoot that person. Why is that? Because you don't know what they going into that car and get. And we know from history, you can look it up on your own, tasers do not always work. People love to say, well, he should have been that tasers do not always work. And they lifted this guy up as a hero. They got him on helmet, got him on the football field, got him on the basketball court. What message did this sentence out with you? That a person who is a registered sex offender, allegedly, a person who fight police in front of his toddler children, young children, is an icon, a role model, right? What kind of message are we sending? We got a guy by the name of George Floyd who wrestled with police. No, he did not deserve to die. No, he did not. And in my opinion, I don't believe he was killed on purpose. That's another argument for another day. Being from the streets and having multiple run-in with the police, I know how the police operate. The police will put their knee on your back. And what I think my theory is, George Floyd was 6'8" in stature. He was a big guy. And Derek Chauvin, whatever the cop name is, put his knee in his back, and by George Floyd constantly wiggling, his knee ended up slowly but surely sliding from his upper shoulder to the back of his windpipe. And by him being full of fentanyl, or even if he would have been sober, that weight on the back of his windpipe was, he couldn't breathe, and he was saying, "I can't breathe." But I mean, of course, we all know, anybody from the streets know that's one of the oldest tricks in the books. When the police own you to say, "I can't breathe," so you can try to hopefully he adjusts himself and you can try to get away, or the cuffs too tight, so hopefully he can unloose the cuffs and you can break away and run. I've been a part of and seen all these type of things happen, so I understand that when you hear somebody say they can't breathe, he could just be telling a lie. He could just be saying that so you can loosen up your grip on him and he can get and wrestle you down. And by this black man being so big, You know what I'm saying? But my whole thing was, and why I believe he deserved to go to jail, is because George Floyd was handcuffed at that point. So there's not much he could have did. He might have could have, wrestled around, maybe even ran, but he was handcuffed at that point. You should have never took him back out of the car. You should have let him cut up in the. Once you got him in the back of the police car, the cop I'm talking about, Derek Chauvin, you should have left him back there. Let him kick out the windows and do whatever you got to do, but don't take him back out the car. And you took him back out the car, and one thing led to another. He ended up dying, and so he doing time for that. But that's not here another day. But I'm saying this is a guy who was recently released from prison for doing 5 years for holding up a pregnant woman at gunpoint and robbing her, putting a gun to her stomach. Right? He posed as a waterman, knocked on the door. When the woman opened the door, him and his boy ran in. He put a gun to her stomach and demanded drugs and money. This George Floyd I'm telling you about. This is a man who even got arrested that day for committing a crime, counterfeit money, getting caught with fentanyl, and having fentanyl in his system. So these guys are career criminals. And here it is, we putting them up statues such as George Floyd, and they getting statues and all this. They get looked at as heroes. And the NBA and the NFL had these guys on their helmets, had Black Lives Matter, which was a scam organization that's against the nuclear family, um, anti-God, and they had all these type of things that they was just parading on jerseys, parading on the court, parading on the field, pushing for the narrative, and they went woke, and people just was tired of that. People got away from that. Like I said, the messaging is bad. George Floyd was not a hero. George Floyd was a career criminal, and he went out like a career criminal. Career criminals die in the street or they die in prison. That's the life of a career criminal that does not want to change. Same thing for Jacob Blake. When you fight and wrestle with police and run from them and get in a vehicle, as a matter of fact, I believe he was tased and he fought from them, and you run into your nearest vehicle and reach in there like you gonna grab something. Like I always tell people, man, you play stupid games, and guess what kind of prize? You're not gonna win a smart prize from a stupid game. You're gonna win a stupid prize, right? And so, like I said, I just wanted to say that. And the next thing, Jalen Rose want to say something about, oh, Phil Jackson. Now this is gonna go into my narrative of black rulership. Jalen Rose gonna say that Phil Jackson made billions and made however much money he want to sell off the backs of black people. Okay, well let's put it this way. Okay, I agree with you there. I agree with you, Jalen Rose. Maybe Phil Jackson and maybe the NBA have made money off black people. That's true. Let's we gonna agree on that just for the sake of argument, right? So let's say the NBA, which is a group of rich, white, Jewish, or whatever people. Even the commissioner Adam Silver, he rich. Let's say the NFL and NBA shut down today. Who gonna be hurt more from that, blacks or the NBA owners? Let's be honest about it. Let's sit down, because and this is why I speak about black rulership. All the money in the black community, the black spending power that we have, we could own our own league. Would it be as popular as the NFL, the NBA? Maybe not in the first couple of years, but eventually it would. We have the spending power to create our own league. But because most of us don't have ruling class mindsets, because most of us just want to sign a deal and not own the company, because most of us want to sign a contract and not own the team, that's never going to happen. So guess what? It's going to be an NBA, it's going to be an NFL, and whether you want to say that they making money on the backs of black people, because of those NFL, because of those companies, a lot of black people in the world was saved from death, destruction, and was able to bless their family members, was able to do a lot of different things in life that if it wasn't for the NBA or the NFL, you would not know about it. You wouldn't know about Michael Jordan if if it wouldn't have been for basketball, you wouldn't know about Michael Jordan. He probably would have went to college. He came up in a two-parent home, or maybe he wouldn't have went to college, or he might have went to college, or he might have been a blue-collar guy in North Carolina. Nobody would have never heard of him, because the NBA, which was created by some white men or Jewish men or whoever, they gave him an opportunity to be who he is today. LeBron James. And I can go on and on and on. So it's not about with the NBA and Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson took Jordan to another level. Phil Jackson took Kobe and Shaq to another level. And we're going to start with Jordan. If it wasn't for Phil Jackson, we don't know if Jordan would have ever been as successful as he was in the NBA, which led to outside success like his shoes and his brand. So, people always like to say about how the NBA and the NFL is making money off the backs of blacks, is the modern day slavery. Well, guess what? Start your own league. Start a black football league. Start a black basketball league. But those people who always saying that, they got money, a lot of them, and guess what? They ain't gonna put their money where their mouth is. Like I always say, the internet revolutionary with a big mouth and no plan. And until then, the NBA and the NFL gonna continue to make money off black people back, and black people gonna continue to be millionaires and successful business people off the NBA. It's a you wash my hand, I wash your hand situation. Of course, the people who own us make more, but guess what? One without the other wouldn't work. And guess what? The thing about it is, if the NBA or the NFL was to shut down today or tomorrow, all these new up and coming NBA and NFL stars and all the people in college and high school that want to one day change their life and their family life that's currently in college right now, high school, guess what? If the NBA and NFL stop right now, they dream gonna be crushed. They gonna have to go be regular. They gonna have to go get them a day job. But guess what? Them owners gonna still be multi-billionaires. They gonna still be businessmen, and they gonna still have investments, and they gonna be rich regardless. So at the end of the day, who really needs who? If you ask me, I think blacks need the NBA and the NFL, because the black people in our communities that actually have money, and and all of us are part of that trillions of dollars spending power we have, we not gonna build our own league. And if we was to build our own league, blacks wouldn't go to it. They wouldn't want to play for it if they had it compared to the NBA or the NFL. Just like HBCUs. How many great college athletes actually go to HBCUs? No, they go to these schools that was founded by white people. Because why is that? They want the exposure. And they could change that narrative overnight. Not all, but a lot of the greatest players, when you look at the ESPN 300 and the very highly touted basketball players and football players, are black. If they would all just do an overhaul at the HBCU within 5 to 10 years, HBCUs would be the powerhouse. HBCUs would be the standard, but they not going to do that. They just going to get on the internet and talk about the white man and how much power he got, but they the ones who give him his power. Right? And going back to the NBA and the NFL, if the NBA or NFL stop right now, you can say it's making money on the backs of black people. If it stopped right now, just like that situation they came with, and I got a video on my channel about that, about Jerry Jones. And they was trying to talk about him because he got caught in a racist picture in the 50s. Listen, Jerry Jones have provided more and did more for more black families and made more black men and women millionaires than any black person that we ever could even think of. Well, he just did it because they helped him out. Well, guess what? If he sell a cowboy right now or never had a cowboy, Jerry is an oil tycoon. He's still going to be who he is. But the people that he made millionaires, the black men, would they still be millionaires? That's a question that we know the answer to that. Maybe yes, maybe no, but it wouldn't all of them be. And so that's why I always say, man, when people talk that stuff, they just be talking and running their mouth without thinking things through. Do the NBA and the NFL need black people, or do black people need the NFL and the NBA? And I will say this here. They need each other. But if the NBA and the NFL stop, it's not going to hurt the owners. It's going to hurt them, but they going to still find other ways to make money because they already got money. But the people who in the NBA that's up and coming, or the people who in the NBA or got plans on dreaming of coming to the NBA, they dream going to be over. And they going to have to choose a different career path. And it's probably not going to make them near as much money as if they was in the NBA and NFL. So I'm going to let them finish playing, and I'm going to close out.
Rose is one of the biggest dumb fucks in mainstream sports, and he had to take on this as well. ESPN's Jalen Rose rips Phil Jackson for criticizing the NBA's social justice push, coached the greatest black athletes ever, and made millions on their backs. Once again insinuating that Phil Jackson is racist. We may as well let him speak.
Hall of Fame coach and 11-time champion Phil Jackson claims to have stopped supporting the NBA because it became too political when it went into the bubble. and was catering to certain audiences by putting slogans on the back of jerseys and Black Lives Matter on the floor. The same Phil Jackson that won championships with some of the greatest black athletes in the history of the game. Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant, made millions on their backs and off their sweat equity. You're sitting up watching the game with your grandkids?
So just real quick, did Phil Jackson not help those guys out at all? Did Michael Jordan win championships before Phil Jackson? Did Kobe and Shaq win championships before Phil Jackson? I don't think so. So the idea that Phil Jackson, he was just benefiting from all these. Certainly he wasn't the one doing the work on the floor, but you can't deny the greatness of Phil Jackson as a head coach. Of course, he had some talent along with him, no doubt about that. But it's just funny that that's the route this entire thing's going.
And y'all think it's funny when justice passes the ball to equal opportunity? When somebody shows you who they are, believe them. So stop watching forever.
So stop watching forever. You know what? This is the fucking problem. And Jalen Rose, by saying, when someone tells you who they are, believe them. Well, I know you're a dumb fucking retard, Jalen Rose, so I will believe you because you continue to say it time and time again. He is trying to insinuate, he's trying to call Phil Jackson racist by what he's saying right there. This is a sentiment. What Phil Jackson said is shared by a lot of people because guess what? Black Lives Matter, the scam organization that is Black Lives Matter, is incredibly divisive. And a lot of people involved with that organization despise white people. So yeah, maybe it drives some people away to see the NBA prop that up. Maybe it drives
I'm gonna rewind this back because I want him to say so. I want y'all to hear what he just said real fast.
incredibly divisive. And a lot of people involved with that organization despise white people. So yeah.
Right there. No, they don't, brother. They don't despise white people. They love white people. They love white people. But the white people gotta be liberal, gotta affirm them, gotta give them a hug. They want that hug. It's not that they hate white people. They hate white people that don't kiss their butt. They want white people like liberal whites to worship them, to affirm them, to give them that hug. Because if they hated white people, those members of Black Lives Matter, and all majority of black people that get money, and majority black majority black internet revolutionaries like Jalen Rose, to name a few, all of them stay in white neighborhood. None of them don't stay in the hood. None of them ain't come back to the hood and build the hood up. They stay in white neighborhood. So you wrong, sir. They do not hate white people. They just want a hug, and the white people that don't give them a hug and speak against their nonsense, that's the one they hate. Just so we clear.
Maybe it drives some people away to see the NBA prop that up. Maybe it drives fans away from the NBA when you celebrate a criminal like Jacob Blake, who was rightfully shot. If you keep telling people to walk away because they don't agree with your political point of view or your propaganda or the agenda you want to push, it's not a surprise when people do walk away from the NBA. And Jalen Rose doing everything he can to trash Phil Jackson while it's so popular for these woke freaks to do so. What do you guys think about this? What do you think about Jalen Rose's take about Phil Jackson and about Phil Jackson's comments themselves? Let me know in the comments section below. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk.
And that's it on that. Thank y'all for watching. Y'all have a blessed day.